Okay, how many of you like Starbucks? Just raise your hand. Starbucks? Starbucks, okay. Anybody can guess on this, or you may know. Anybody know, without looking it up, okay, or want to take a guess, how many different drink combinations that Starbucks offers? Over 100, okay. Anybody? 4,000? Keep coming, man. Anybody else got any other guesses? Or no? 1,500? Customizable orders. Any kind of combination, drink combination that can occur with Starbucks that they offer. 1.5 million. That's a little bit more than, okay. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Keep coming, man.
8,000.
8,000, 5,000, 8,000? Yeah. 2023. No. Couple more. Anybody else? 7,500. Okay. Did somebody say 8,000?
Yeah.
Who said 8,000? Okay. Well, she's the closest. There's 170,000 drink combinations according to Starbucks on their website. Okay? So because you're the closest, we have a gift card here for you. It is a $500 Starbucks gift card, okay? So you need to share this with everybody.
Daddy, let's
Oh,
go.
no, okay, that's right. It's only 15. It's okay.
Daddy, let's go.
Okay. Anyway, your generation, more than any other generation, has grown up with tons and tons of options. You guys have tons of options when it comes to drinks. You have tons of options when it comes to where you get your news. You've got tons of options for entertainment. As for me, when I was in college, when I was a freshman back in 1976, do the math, I know it's old, okay?
Woo!
All right? At that particular time, I thought it was a big deal. My parents let me take a 13-inch black and white TV to college. And obviously back then, there was only a couple channels. We used the rabbit ears, the antenna. But my freshman year in college, we got cable. That was a big deal. I think there was probably like 10 to 12 channels. And we thought that was the biggest deal. And one of our favorite shows we like to watch, I'm just curious if anybody has ever heard of this show, Sanford and Son. Oh, I got a few oh yeahs. Okay, yeah. That's my wife's favorite show, man. She loves watching reruns with me. If you've never seen the show, you need to look it up, okay? Watch an episode, Sanford and Son. But you guys have tons of options today compared to any other generation. But I'm just curious, how many of you like having multiple options? Raise your hand. How many of you like having all these options? Okay. How many of you get stressed out with all the options? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Well, guess what? When it comes to spiritual beliefs, you also have plenty of options. We have plenty of options today. By some estimates, there are over 4,000 religions, faith groups, and denominations. And if you don't like any of those 4,000, guess what? You can make up your own. And you can make a combination of some of those 4,000. Or, unfortunately, today there's a lot of people, and we talk to people around campus all the time who don't have any spiritual beliefs. They've just chosen not to pursue that at all whatsoever. So tonight, we're continuing in the large group, investigating Christianity as the theme. Nettie talked about who is God last time. And then tonight, we're going to be talking about why Christianity. Out of all of the things that you can embrace, all the different belief systems, religions, why should I consider Christianity? So we're going to look at some reasons why you might want to do that. If you're here tonight and you're still checking things out, and you may not yet be sure of what to believe, this may not persuade you in any way. This may not convince you in any way, but this is what I do hope it does. I hope that it does give you some good things to think about. I hope that it will cause you to keep asking more questions. And I hope it will cause you to keep seeking the truth. Because you need to seek the truth. We all need to seek the truth. Why believe something and commit our life to it unless it's true? Right? Doesn't make any sense. One of the books that we use in our small group is a book called Christianity for Those Who Aren't Christians. And it's by a guy by the name of James Emery White. And James Emery White talks about this in his first chapter. He says when he was 9 years old, he's a pretty perceptive 9-year-old, by the way, but he said he started thinking, my parents are Christians, we're a Christian family, but the reason why I'm a Christian is because my parents were, and my parents probably because of their parents. And then he started thinking, you know what? If I was born in India, I would probably be a Hindu. If I was born in the Middle East, I'd probably be a Muslim. So man, he's like, man, I got to go check with my parents to see if they investigated Christianity to see if it was true. So he goes down to the kitchen, talks to his mom, and he says, Mom, are we Christian just because we live in America? Did you and Dad check this thing out to make sure it was legit and it was true? Again, pretty perceptive 9-year-old, right? What she told him was this. First of all, son, she said, James, there are Christians all over the world, not just in the United States. There are Christians all over the world. The second thing is this. Your dad and I did do some investigating, and we came to believe that Jesus is who he said he is and that Christianity is true. And she said, I want you to explore any options you want to, because this has to be a personal choice. Your faith has to be your own, so you are free to investigate any religion and any belief system you want to, but it has to be your choice. But we've investigated Christianity and we believe it to be true. Pretty interesting, huh? So tonight, that's kind of the challenge for each one of us. Is Christianity true? Are there reasons for us to embrace Christianity, to embrace Jesus Christ, and commit our life to following him? So I hope that tonight, this will definitely encourage you to keep seeking that truth, to keep asking more questions. Because it is a personal decision that you have to wrestle with and you have to make, that all of us do. Now, for those of us who have already come to believe that Jesus is who he said he is and that Christianity is true and we are followers of Christ, I hope that this will remind us tonight of what we have to be thankful for and encourage us that there are plenty of reasons why we should share Jesus with others. That's what I hope will happen tonight. C.S. Lewis said this, and I'm going to quote him a couple times tonight. He said this. He said, if Christianity is false, it is of no importance. In fact, if it's false, we ought to just get up here right now and head home for fall break. Okay? No sense in being here. But he said, if it is true, it is of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important. If it's false, it's no importance. If it's true, it's infinite importance, but there is no middle ground. So that's why it's important for us to investigate, to dig in, to see, is Jesus really who he said he was? And is Christianity true? Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes we make choices based on, sometimes, yes, what we want to do. But a lot of times we look at it and say, okay, is this beneficial to me? And which one will I get the most out of? Now, that's not always the best motivation to determine our choice, but we do it a lot. So I want to begin, and I'm going to try to go this as quickly as I can. Zach Collins already told me, he said, you need to condense your notes, man. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to talk fast, okay? But we're going to look at 7 good reasons, I think are good reasons, to consider Christianity. And you can determine for yourself if it is beneficial for you, how beneficial it is for you. Now, these are not the only reasons by any means, but I think there's good reasons to begin with. So I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as I can. You can see those in your notes. They're right there with it, and the scriptures as well, okay? So I'm going to talk fast. You guys listen fast, and we're going to hustle through this together. Got it? Okay. All right. One of the first reasons I think we should consider Christianity is because Christianity transforms us, transforms individuals from the inside out. I was talking with a PhD student a couple years ago, and we've been talking about Christianity, and he'd been asking different questions and this, and we were driving this and that, and we were driving back away from lunch, and he said, you know what, I've come to the conclusion that I think basically all religions are about just being a good person. Just about being a good person. And I looked at him and I said, you know, I can understand why you might think that. But I said, Christianity is different. Because Christianity changes the person on the inside. The outside change flows from the inside change. Jesus Christ came to change our mind and our heart. to make us a brand new person, to make us completely change the person we are on the inside. See what the verse says there in 2 Corinthians 5:17? We're all familiar with this one. It says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, and see, everything has become new. Christianity is not a makeover, and it's not an upgrade to the current version of ourselves. It is a complete change of our heart, our mind, our attitude, and our perspective. The old has passed away, and everything is new. According to Ephesians 2:5, it tells us that we are dead in our trespasses, but that God has made us alive through Jesus Christ, and we become a brand new person. We are born spiritually. We receive God's Holy Spirit. He lives inside of us, and now 24/7, at this very moment, He is working inside of us to shape us, to mold us, and to make us just like Jesus Christ. There are so many belief systems that just focus on changing your outside behavior and tweaking a few things here and there. That is not what Christianity does and not what Christianity talks about. It is a complete change of our whole being. Jesus Christ makes us a brand new person. To me, that is a good reason to consider embracing Jesus Christ and Christianity. Second reason, very quickly, Christianity establishes an unchanging identity. Let's be honest, man, we're all constantly reinventing ourselves, trying to figure out who our real self is, right? We're trying to figure out, hopefully, that we'll come across the right one, right? We'll finally figure out who we really are. We base our identity on our looks. We base our identity on our accomplishments, on our skills, how many followers we have, our degrees, our bank account. Whereas Christianity says we are a new person in Christ, and we are a child of God. Look at the verse there in Romans 8:15-16. It says, for you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear. Instead, you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. The Spirit Himself testifies together with our spirit that we are God's children. My identity is based on who God says I am and His acceptance of me based on my relationship with Jesus Christ. I am a follower of Jesus Christ who happens to be a husband, who happens to be a father, who happens to be a grandfather, who happens to be an American, who happens to be a 65-year-old white dude, who happens to be a Green Bay Packer fan, and who happens to be a launch campus minister at Purdue University. Those are not my identity. I am a follower of Jesus Christ, and that identity, I am a child of God, and that identity does not change. Man, how encouraging and comforting is that? That we don't have to keep searching for who we are, but that in Christ we know who we are. And that is settled. And it never, ever changes. Third reason that I think we should consider Christianity is that Christianity provides meaning and purpose. It gives me a reason to get out of bed and get up every morning. It makes each day a brand new adventure because I've got a reason to live. And each day is a new adventure. Look at the verse there in Colossians 1:16. For everything was created in Him, in heaven and on earth, the visible and the invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through Him and for Him. Let's be honest, man, I don't know how many of you creators would like to create things, but if you're a creator of something, you're the only person who knows the true purpose of your creation, correct? It just makes logical sense. You're the one person who knows and can explain what the purpose of my creation is, because you created it. And in the same way, God created us. So therefore, He's the one who shares with us and helps us to understand and points out to us what our purpose is. It says that we were created by Him and for Him. Throughout the Bible, we see that God has a purpose for us, and that purpose is for us to know Him and to love Him. God has made Himself known in so many different ways. Why? So that we will know Him on an intimate, personal level, and that we will love Him with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and so that we will bring glory to Him in everything we do. Isaiah 43:7 clearly says this. It says, we were created to bring God glory. And in 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says that we are to do everything for the glory of God. That means that when we're in class, when we're at work, when we're hanging out with our friends, when we're playing intramurals, we are looking for ways to do what? Bring Him glory. God is worthy of all of our praise, and guess what? Here's the cool thing. When we glorify God through everything we do, you know what we do? We point people to God, and hopefully they then can see Him for who He is, and they will come to have a personal relationship with Him as well. God's worthy of our praise. He's worthy of us bringing Him glory through everything we do. But even beyond that, it helps others come to know Him as well. I've got a 4-year-old grandson. His name is Teddy. And one of the things my son and his wife have started doing just a couple years ago, and they asked him this question, said, Teddy, who made you? Teddy go, God. Why did He make you? For His glory. Now, does Teddy understand that? No. But what are they doing? They're trying to help him to instill and understand as he grows up that God made him and that God made him for a purpose. That this is not a meaningless existence that just happens by chance, but that God created us, and He created us for Him to bring Him glory and to know Him and to love Him with our entire life. I don't know about you, but again, that makes every day a new adventure. I don't have to get up and wonder. That is the big picture purpose for every human being. And then the cool thing is, He's got a unique plan for each one of us and how we can fulfill the original big purpose that He has for us. And that may look in many different ways, but God uses our individual plan that He has for us to fulfill the big plan, which is to bring Him glory and to know Him and to love Him. Again, that to me, just another reason why we should consider embracing Christianity. All right, very quickly, we're moving along. Hanging with me? Okay, we're number 4. Okay. Christianity gives peace in a world of chaos. And we all know that life can be hard, and we all experience anxiety and stress on a weekly, if not daily basis. Jesus tells us in John 16:33 that we will have trouble and suffering in this world, but He says what? Hey, take heart, guys, because I've overcome the world. There's nothing that you're facing going through that can trump me. I've overcome the world, and I'll enable you to get through it. And then look at that verse there in John 14:27. This is what He said. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I don't give to you as the world gives. Don't let your heart be troubled or fearful. Jesus gives us peace in the midst of all of our circumstances. Doesn't matter what it is. You and I can enjoy peace in the midst of any situation we go through in life. I watch people do it as they have dealt with illness and as they have gone through death. And I've been amazed at the peace of God that enables them to walk through that valley. Philippians 4:7 tells us not to worry about anything, but it tells us to pray about everything with thanksgiving. And guess what? The peace of God will guard our hearts and our minds. It will protect us. It will guard us. Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. My Father takes care of the lilies of the field, and He will take care of you as well. Again, we're all looking for peace. We're all dealing and struggling with anxiety and stress. And Jesus comes along and says, man, I give you my peace. I don't give you what the world gives you, but I give you my peace. So don't be troubled and fearful. We have that peace in the midst of any circumstance. Reason number 5, Christianity teaches us how to have healthy relationships. Life is all about relationships, right? We receive great joy from relationships, and they can also cause us great pain, right? Think about that. We get most joy in life from our relationships, and we suffer most pain from the relationships in our life. But yet, when you look at Jesus' teachings and you look at what the New Testament teaches, they give us a lot of great relationship principles. And if we would just learn to follow those principles, our relationships would be way more meaningful and peaceful. They are extremely relevant. People ask that all the time. Is Christianity relevant? It's a 2,000-year-old belief system. Is it relevant in 2023? Absolutely. Absolutely. The teaching of Jesus in the New Testament do fit every situation that we experience today. They are extremely relevant, and they apply to our family relationships, our friendships, our co-worker relationships, our significant others, strangers, and even our enemies. Simple thing that Jesus said was this. What did He say? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Man, what a difference that would make if everybody embraced that, right? How good is that? How practical is that? And then he also talked about forgiving each other 70 times 7, offering an abundant amount of forgiveness. He also talked about being honest in your communications. New Testament, plenty of verses, don't lie to each other. What does that do? Man, it destroys relationships quicker than anything else. Be faithful to each other. Put the needs of others before yourself. And then one you see right there is John 15:12. Jesus said, love one another. But he doesn't just stop there. He says, love one another as I've loved you. He's saying, love each other with a sacrificial love the same way that I love you. And I will show that sacrificial love by giving my life for you. That's the very next verse. I will lay down my life for you. Just think about that. If we would learn to love each other the way Christ loved us, man, what a radical difference it would make in our relationships. You know, the interesting thing is, I've heard this before, people who are comedians, people on television, politicians, and other celebrities who do not believe in God, or agnostic or atheist, but they say, you know what, I like Jesus. I like his teachings. He's got some good stuff to say. Christianity teaches us how to have healthy relationships. Number 6, Christianity secures our future. A lot of times when you ask people, hey man, do you think you'll go to heaven when you die? If you believe in heaven, do you think you'll go to heaven? And a lot of times you get the answer, well, I sure hope so. Or, you know, I think so. Or, I'm not sure, but I probably will make it in. Or, I've got a pretty good chance. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound very secure. It's a lot of wishful thinking, right? Like crossing your fingers, man. Like, when I die, man, I hope that I wake up and I see Peter and not somebody else. Right? It's kind of the ideal sometimes. Look at what it says there in 1 John 5:13. He says, I have written these things to you that believe in the name of the Son of God, so that you may know that you have eternal life. 1 Peter 1:3 says that we are given a living hope. Our hope is not wishful thinking and crossing our fingers. It is an assurance that we will live with Jesus forever. We have the security of our future and what will happen when we die. Man, talk about bringing an unbelievable amount of peace and rest in our lives. And then when you face death, as 1 Thessalonians says, yeah, we grieve like everybody else, but we don't grieve without hope because we have a living hope in Jesus. How cool is that? A lot of people don't have that kind of security. Another quick story. My wife and I, Jeannie, we moved here to West Lafayette from Wake Forest, North Carolina. We were there for 3 years. I was getting my master's degree at Southeastern Seminary. While I was there, I was working at Roadway Trucking in Raleigh, which is about 20 minutes away. What I would do is I would come in on midnight on Sunday and work all night, midnight till 9, 10 Monday morning. We didn't have classes on Monday, so it was a perfect job. What we would do is unload all the trucks that came in over the weekend. We would move it from those trucks onto the local trucks, so the local drivers, when they came in on Monday morning, were ready to go out and take it to the local businesses. The crew that was working on Sunday nights at midnight, they called us the Do Crew. And when I got hired, one of the supervisors who hired me, he said, we like to hire seminary students for 2 reasons. 1, we know you guys need the money. And 2, we figure you're not on drugs. Okay? So, it was a pretty good gig. It was hard work, but it was a pretty good gig. One of the guys that worked on our Do Crew was a local guy who worked 40 hours a week, but he just did this for a little extra money. And I kind of got to know him, and we developed a pretty good relationship. And I can still remember, one morning, he and I stayed a little extra, did into a little extra overtime working. And as we were leaving, we walked out together. It was still light drizzle out in the parking lot. And we had talked a few times before about the gospel, about Christianity. We got into a conversation again. And I happened to mention to him about my security in Jesus and the fact that I know when I die that I'll spend eternity with Jesus in heaven. Not because of me, but because of what Jesus has done in me. He's like, how can you know? He said, if you have that kind of assurance, then what keeps you to doing the right thing? Because, you got to have some kind of fear that you won't make it in that will keep motivating you to do the right thing. And I looked at him and I said, I understand that. I said, but now we have a greater motivation. We don't serve and do the right thing and do good works out of fear, but we do it out of love. We do it out of love, and love is a much greater motivator than fear. Now I get to serve him and do what he wants me to do, not because I'm trying to earn his acceptance and earn my way to heaven, but because I'm his child and he's changed my life and I want to please him and I want to love him. I'll never forget that. We have a secure future. Christianity offers a secure future. Last thing is this. Christianity is based on grace and not works. By the way, on each one of these things, we could spend the whole night talking. There's no doubt about it, especially on this one. And I know Dennis will probably pick up on this in a couple weeks when he talks about what is the gospel. C.S. Lewis was at a conference in Britain, and they were at a conference on comparative religions. And they were all debating, is there any difference in Christianity and all the other belief systems and religions that are in the world? Is it because they believe in heaven and hell? Is it because of their belief in God? Is there anything? And they couldn't come up with anything. And C.S. Lewis walked in, and he heard the debate, and he goes, oh, that's easy. It's grace. That's simple, man. It's grace. In many religions and belief systems, it is up to us to do certain things in order to earn the acceptance of whatever God we believe in, whatever God they believe in. Christianity is not about us doing something, but about what God has done through Jesus. It is not about us and what we can do and our works, but it is about what God has done for us through Jesus because of his grace. It's all about God giving us a free gift that, guess what, we don't and can't ever earn, and is not something that we deserve. God gives us something that we can't earn and that we don't deserve. Out of God's love and God's pleasure, he chose to provide a way for us to be forgiven and to be reconciled with him. And what was that way? That way was Jesus. He gave his son so that we would have a way to be forgiven and that we can be reconciled to him. That was a free gift that God gave us. Look at the verse there. You're all familiar with this one probably. Ephesians 2:8-9. For you are saved by grace through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is God's gift, not of works, so that no one can boast. I don't know about you, but I'm glad that God is a gracious God, and that salvation and eternity are not dependent on me and my works. I'm grateful for God's grace, that he chose to do that. He didn't have to. And I didn't deserve for him to do that in any way. And I didn't do anything for him to do that. He just chose to provide that way. And through faith in Jesus Christ, I experienced all the joys that come with that grace. Now, these are just some reasons why I believe it is a good thing to consider Christianity. Again, this may not persuade you, may not convince you, but I think there are some good things to wrestle with. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to get in small groups, just with a couple of people around you, okay? Hopefully get in with a couple of people you don't know, 4 or 5. We're going to take 5 minutes to do this, okay? But just get in small groups, and then you've got a couple of questions there to ask yourself. Which of these reasons that I went through is the most compelling and encouraging to you, and why? And then, what are some other reasons why someone might and should consider Christianity? All right? Go, you got 5 minutes. Any of your thoughts? One of the things out of the 7 was most compelling to you or encouraging to you? Anybody?
Meaning and purpose.
Meaning and purpose, okay. All right, good. Over here? Anybody? Do what? Grace now works, okay. That's good. All right, man. Okay, so over here, what about some other reasons you can maybe thought of that would be good for people to consider Christianity? Yeah.
We are never alone. We are always with God. Our relationship with Jesus affects our relationship with others as well, our fellow men.
That's good, man. We are never alone. Yeah. And it affects all of our other relationships. Yeah, that's good. What about over here? Anybody else got another one? Okay, credibility of the Bible. In a couple of weeks after Dennis talks about what the gospel is, Ben's going to be talking about that. How reliable, how credible is the Bible? All right. Good deal. I would encourage you to keep having this conversation with people. Just what are some reasons why we should encourage people to consider Christianity? We keep talking about it, okay? By the way, let me just say before we get to the ultimate reason, if anything that I say tonight or have said is confusing or is not clear and needs clarification, please don't hesitate to come talk to me afterwards or talk to any of the staff, okay? Because definitely, again, we want people to understand the truth. God wants us to know the truth. And so don't be afraid to ask any questions. Don't be afraid to bring up any kind of doubts or anything you're struggling with and wrestling with. We'd love to walk with you through that. So please, if there's something that's not clear tonight or something confused you, please don't hesitate to come talk to us, okay? All right. Now we're going to get to the one ultimate reason that we should embrace Christianity. Notice that change, consider to embrace. There's one simple reason why all of us, every single person, should embrace Christianity. And that simple reason is Jesus Christ. All right. Is Jesus who he said he is? According to Hebrews 12, it says that Jesus is the author and perfecter of our faith. Everything rises and falls on Jesus. It's all about him. If Jesus is not who he said he is, and if he didn't really rise from the dead, then Christianity is false. We have no hope. Our faith is useless. We've been conned, and we deserve to be pitied more than anyone else. That's exactly what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15. And again, if it's not true, if Jesus is not who he said he is, and he's not alive today, then we need to get up and leave right now. Because we're wasting our time. But if he is true, but if he is who he said he is, and if Christianity is true, then as C.S. Lewis said, it's of infinite importance. And we need to consider that. And I'm simply saying here, as the final point tonight, that Jesus Christ is the sole reason why we should embrace Christianity. It's all about him. And I want to point out three things simple about Jesus, okay? First of all, Jesus is God. He is 100% God and 100% man. Philippians chapter 2 tells us that he left heaven and all the rights and the privileges. He came to this earth, took on the form of a slave, became a human being, and died the most humiliating death on the cross that he could. And he did that out of consideration for our need for salvation and for someone to pay the price for us. That's what he did for us and why he came to this earth. You see right there the passage that Nathaniel read a while ago, John 1 and verse 14. It said, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We observed his glory, the glory as the one and only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. Jesus is the Word. Jesus is the Word. Jesus in John 10:30, you see it there also in your notes. He told people plainly, I and the Father are one. The question is this. Anybody can claim to be God. Did he back it up? Did he back it up?
Yes.
When you look at the different evidence for Jesus and whether or not he truly was God, you see that he fulfilled hundreds of prophecies that were written hundreds of years. He's the only one who matches up to all of those prophecies. When you look at his teachings, what did people constantly say when they heard him talk? Hey man, who is this dude? I've never heard anybody talk like this before. This guy speaks with authority. They knew there was something different about him. They couldn't get enough. They couldn't get enough. You look at his lifestyle. Hebrews chapter 4 tells us that he was perfect in every way. He was tempted just like us, but he had no sin. His lifestyle. You look at his compassion. His compassion was off the charts. He hung out with people that nobody else would dare even speak to. His compassion was off the charts. You look at all the miracles he performed. He had power over disease and sickness in all of nature. Who does that? Only God can do that. And then you look, the ultimate proof is what? The resurrection. He's the only one who's ever come back from the grave like that. He's the only one who's alive. He's the only one who can make that claim and back it up. Jesus rose from the dead. And again, as I mentioned just a while ago, according to 1 Corinthians 15, if he didn't, then our faith is useless. These are all the ways in which Jesus backed up the truth that he is God. Second of all, Jesus said this, I'm the only way. No one comes to the Father but through me, right there in John 14:6. Anybody know who Oprah Winfrey is? I didn't know if you guys would know who it is or not. I mean, all of us know who he was, who she is. Everybody know who Oprah Winfrey was? Or is? Okay. I can still remember, man, when her talk show was blowing and going, man. It was one of the top shows on TV. And one of the episodes I watched, she talked about this very issue. And she made this comment, this question, threw it out there. Why wouldn't God make multiple ways? It makes more sense that there would be multiple ways for people to get to God. That does seem to be somewhat logical, right? Why wouldn't God make multiple ways? That was her question to the audience. But one of the things we know is that Jesus is the only person, as I just pointed out. What distinguishes him from all the other people in all the other ways is that Jesus distinguished himself as God. There's no one else like him. There's no one else who can back that claim up. Jesus did because that's who he is. And second of all is this. If it is true that there are multiple ways to God, then Jesus died for no reason at all. He did not have to die on the cross. It's just one of many ways. But Jesus said, no, I'm the only way. No one comes to the Father but through me. Now, some people have an issue with that, and some people, it causes them to resist Christianity because they say that it's just way too exclusive. But here's the cool thing. Yes, it is an exclusive claim, but it is an inclusive invitation. Doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, you have an opportunity to come to know God through Jesus Christ. He's the only way, but the invitation is open for anyone. An exclusive claim, but an inclusive invitation. Jesus is the only way. And then the last thing I'll point out there is, very simply, is that Jesus loves us more than anyone else. There is no one who loves us greater than Jesus does. Notice the verse there. Jesus says this in John 15:13. No one has greater love than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. Jesus willingly gave up his life to pay the price for our sins so that we could be forgiven and have a personal relationship with God. He was the only one who could do that. And he gladly did that because of his great love for us. Do you catch that? He willingly laid down his life. He gladly gave his life up because of his great love for us. He is the ultimate and only reason we need to embrace Christianity. Christianity is true because Jesus is who he said he is. He is God. He's the only way to have a relationship with God the Father, and he loves us more than anyone else. From my perspective, we don't need any more reasoning. Jesus proves why we should embrace him and why we should embrace Christianity as true. That may not convince you, but I would just encourage you, and I always do this, is people who are still not sold, just dig in and study the person of Jesus. Read the scriptures about him. Look at his life. Listen to what he has to say. Focus on Jesus. Don't focus on all these other secondary questions, but just look at the person and life of Jesus. That's what it comes down to. He is the reason why we should embrace Christianity. Everything rises and falls on him. It's all about him. And when we embrace Christianity, we become his followers, and we get the joy of him walking with us through life, and we get the joy of spending eternity with him forever. He is the ultimate reason, the one reason why we should embrace Christianity. This time we're going to have you break up again, okay? And just take about 5 more minutes. You can get in a different group, you can get in the same group. Got 2 questions. What is the most appealing thing about Jesus to you? And then, considering the love and perfect character of Jesus, why do you think people sometimes are hesitant to commit their lives to following him and embracing Christianity? All right? Okay. Go to it. You got 5 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dennis Runner. I'm on staff here as the cross-cultural team leader. And so I work with, try to work with students from international cultures, but also domestic students who want to engage cross-culturally. And so we do different events. The Fall Festival's coming up. That's our biggest event for the fall semester. And so we look forward to sharing these experiences of typical fall things, from pumpkin carving to painting to line dancing to all kinds of stuff. Caramel apples, got a photo booth going, all kinds of fun stuff. But also, if you ever want to talk about theology, I'm also a person I love to sit and discuss theological things. If you're dealing with big questions in life, My office upstairs, if I'm in there, you're always welcome to come in. So I'm going to pray us out, and then we will be dismissed and enjoy our evening together. Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight. Lord, as we continue to investigate what you have established, Lord, I pray that for those who don't know you, that this would be an ongoing search. But Lord, for those that do know you, that this would be a time of increasing our faith and our understanding. Lord, we thank you again for the opportunity, the freedom to meet in here tonight. We pray for those who have been taking tests, those who have more exams coming up. We ask, Father, for your blessing to be on them as they go forward. Thank you again for all you've done for us. And may we honor and glorify you in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen. You're dismissed.